LVOT in AV canal defect, which is a very classical angiographic description of LVOT called the gooseneck deformity or a sprung neck deformity. So what happens to LVOT in AV canal defect? What we saw earlier, this is the AV canal defect and the immediate anterior structure is the aorta. Either because of the AV canal defect or the defect in the ventricular septum, which usually supports the aorta, this LV outflow tract, it becomes unwedged and unsupported. That is, you can see normally what happens. This is the left atrium, mitral valve, this is the left ventricle. So this part of the ventricular septum or the AV canal, it supports this LV outflow tract in such a way that from the apex, the inlet is at the same distance as the outlet. So this is normal. In case of AV canal defect, this is the left atrium, the AV valve is at the normal position. But because of the defect in the septal defect, ventricular septal defect or unsupporting tissue in the AV canal, this LVOT is pushed longer and narrower, that is pushed away from the mitral valve. So it becomes longer and narrower. If you see the distance of the mitral valve from the apex, it is shorter than the aortic valve from the apex. So this is seen in the, we can see first in the echo. So this is a normal echo where the aortic valve, mitral valve, the distance is almost the same. But here you see the mitral valve is here. It is more apical than the aortic valve, which is pushed away. So the distance of the apex to aorta is longer than the apex to the mitral valve distance. So here we can see the figure of 8 appearance of the AV canal. This is normal AV canal and this is the aorta, which is just supported by the tissue here between the two AV valves. This is the pulmonary valve. So if you see the aorta, it is well supported by the tissue here. Because of lack of endocardial cushion, that is a defective AV canal tissue, this has become unsupported. So it becomes longer and narrower and it is narrower than the normal. Here it is narrower than the normal aorta, LV outflow tract. So it can become narrower in such a way that it can even develop LV outflow tract obstruction. There are many causes for LV outflow tract obstruction in AV canal defect. We'll see one by one. So the distance of the mitral valve to the apex is shorter than the aortic valve to the LV apex. This is a characteristic gooseneck deformity seen in the LV angiogram in LAO view. See here the course of the catheter, it is lying on the right side of the spine. So if it is on the right side of the spine, it is IVC, left side of the spine, it is aorta. So it is a venous axis. The catheter is coming from the femoral vein to the IVC. So IVC should reach the RA, but through the ASD defect, it has gone to the LA and then the LV. So here you can see the mitral valve here. It is very competent here. So the catheter is reached the LV, RA from the ASD to LA to LV. So if you inject into the LV, you can see from the mitral valve to the apex is shorter while the aortic valve is here. You can see the cusp here. So the apex to the aortic valve is very much longer and it is like a long tubular sprung neck or a gooseneck, classical of AV septal defect.